We don't currently have that implemented. You know, it used to be, at least in the Nortel Avaya world, it was Find Me, Follow Me, or Cisco, you need extension mobility. And the reason it's becoming a pretty high priority for us now is, especially with our sales reps, they don't have a desk phone. They have a home office where they have their own landline, you know, phone number, and they may have a mid-market extension, but they very rarely use that mid-market extension. They've actually gotten to a point where they think about their cell phone for everything. Well, now that sales rep leaves and goes to a competitor. You know, how many of you have bought a vehicle? Do you buy it, you know, from the same person, whether they're at this dealership or this dealership? It's like, hey, that, you know, when they go to the new dealership, they reach out to you and say, hey, just want to let you know I moved, you know, this car dealership, you know, we'll run some great deals. And it's like, hey, I had a good interaction with him. I'm going to the salesperson owns that relationship even more so typically than the company does. And so are our customers going with them? How do we retain those customers? But yet give them the flexibility that if they have their own phone, they have their own phone number, it's personal liable. Well, we can't keep it because we don't even own it. And for our corporate liable numbers, oftentimes the managers, again, business is making this decision, says, yeah, go ahead, you can keep your phone number. It's like, really? You know, it shocks IT, but it's a business decision. You know, that technically, yeah, we can do it. We can do assumption liability back and those types of things. But Cisco, Avaya, they have, you know, that functionality, and that's something with our new phone system that we'll be deploying, or we're planning to deploy.
Well, there's where wireless does not play well with others, because you talk about your wireless costs and trying to control that. You know, Verizon, AT&T, whoever made it a lot easier this mobile calling. They almost penalize you for calling a landline. And so now you've got everybody driving to your landline. Now you're eating up plan minutes and have to get on a bigger plan to be able to absorb those minutes. And we struggle with that because we are a landline provider. You know, for business, and to have those features, it's a great thing to have. To find and follow me, and you know, give out one number and then find. But they're like, but if this person calls me, he's on a Verizon network and I'm on a Verizon phone, so I'll just get, you know, it's cheaper and easier for our plan if we talk this way. So now you move that to a personal level, personal liability. It's their own personal phone. They want people to call them directly on their cell phone because this is not going to use their plan minutes. If their work phone is calling their personal phone for every phone call they get, now they're personal liable for a bigger privilege. Or have to get a bigger plan, so it's a double-edged sword here, you know.
It comes down to the financial impact. You know, what's the financial impact to the employee versus the company, and how do you? It's a gray area in there because it's being used for both personal and business, and where do you separate it? How much does the company pay? How much do you expect the employee to pay? You know, for our corporate liable devices, we're incurring all the costs. So anything we do with personal liable, whether it's a stipend, a salary, you know, compensation change, it should benefit the corporation. So any change we make should have a benefit to Midmark. But how's that going to be viewed by our teammates, our employees? Are they going to view it negatively? You know, we provide cars, and I apply this outside of technology because it's not just the mobile devices. You know, we provide vehicles for our 80 to 100 sales reps across the country. You know, it's a corporate-owned vehicle. Well, they just switched to a stipend approach and said, hey, we're going to give you X amount of dollars. You use your own vehicle, you buy your own vehicle, you maintain it, whatever. But there's going to be certain standards. You know, it has to be so new, you know, and because there's a certain image that you want to portray at the same time. So that was kind of the litmus test for, oh boy, that went over like a ton of bricks. That was, you just reduce my compensation is how most of them viewed it. If I need to keep this type of vehicle, it's going to be difficult when I'm doing the maintenance and this and that. No, others looked at it and said, I'll go 7,000 mile oil change, and you know, I'll just reduce some of the maintenance I do on it and see if I can get by longer. But most of them viewed it very negatively, or at least vocalized that to HR. So now HR is the one saying, I don't know if we want to do this with the cell plans right now, because it's basically the same thing. You're just doing it, you know, from vehicles to phones. So.
Have the expectations been raised? I mean, if that's something that gets talked about, that's something that I sometimes wonder about. You said this fellow was on vacation and then was rounding up all these minutes, and I'm thinking, good grief, if I've taken the, I don't know, sold my soul for this stipend, am I now supposed to answer every phone call at all times? Am I supposed to answer emails within a particular amount of time? And while you talk to some, they would say, well, heck no, you're on vacation. What are you doing answering the phone? And others would say, well, you just answer my call. That's the only one that really matters. Ignore everybody else's. So I'm just curious if HR is making those, or if departments are saying, well, you know, you're taking this stipend. I mean, is that built into people's job descriptions now, or procedures that, hey, you know, you should recall, you know, respond within this amount of time? I'm just kind of curious about that, because that's a big deal.
It is. At Midmark, at least, I am not aware that it's written into anyone's job description, so not even within IT. We don't have, I take that back. There are a few individuals that do have certain response times that they have to meet. But I think overall, mid-market, it's probably a gap. What we find most challenging with that is when we do try to communicate things, you know, sales team, you know, or employees, they actually have to open your email and read it. You know, so you can communicate that, hey, when you're in the Bahamas, the cost per minute for a text is this. You know, if you're on a phone call, it's going to be this. And if you're streaming data or, you know, your data plan, it's going to cost, you know, this per meg. We communicated all that. We estimated that about 2 out of 20 opened it and actually read the email. And I don't know if that's, if your IT departments have similar issues when you're trying to communicate things, but those are some of the issues that we have. Is we put things out there, and we try videos, you know, post it, send text messages, send emails, put it on the intranet. It's how can we blast this so that maybe they'll see it in one of these places, but if they don't read it, it's like we're talking, but it's falling on deaf ears, and so that's one of our challenges right now.
They would read the $6,000 bill.
Exactly. Oh boy, they got back and we received the bill. We contacted the national sales manager, and he was like, you know, he had the sales reps on the line. He was talking with the telecom admin. You know, we conferenced Verizon in. I mean, yeah, it became an issue very quickly. And probably for the next 6 months, they'll read emails a little closer, but then it'll fall off again. You know, it's like a number of things like I'll talk about later this afternoon, disaster recovery. Nobody thinks about it until you have an incident. Once you have an incident, boy, can you get some stuff done. You know, you can get budget approvals, you can get, you know, infrastructure put in place, you can get processes, all that. But you need that incident almost.
Getting people to read emails is a challenge for us too. We have thousands of students and hundreds of faculty and staff we need to communicate with. We're actually interested in some concepts that vendors have started using, which is pure bribery. Come fill out my survey, get $10 to Amazon. We did the same approach to for some of our students for beta testing our portal, and we were rolling that out. And we had students come in, and we gave them a $10 gift card to our cafe and things like that. So if you we're actually investigating that for having people read through the email and then answer this question, and the first 10 respondents get a gift card or something. It's a, money's a motivator, always will be. So
I gotta imagine in a college environment though that email is still last year.
Yeah, it
send a text
it is.
That, right?
Well, we're finding.
You say everything in 160 characters.
We had this really interesting thing that came up with our incoming applicants. It seems to change so quickly now. How people communicate, and we had, our reps would always call people, and we always got voicemail. Nobody picks up their phone anymore, especially younger people. But we implemented an enterprise. Well, let's not call it enterprise. It's really not the texting solution for a department. And that department began texting, and the response time was absolutely incredible. Hey, are you planning to show up for orientation? Yep, be there, done. And they called that student 5 times and couldn't get a response, got voicemail every time. They don't want voicemail. And I kind of agree with that. Voicemail to me, only my mom leaves me voicemail messages. If I get a voicemail, I know it's my mom. Mom's calling to check, see how I'm doing. If it's anybody else just communicates by text. Short bursts of information.
They call you up, you don't answer, they hang up, you text them, you don't leave them voicemail. It's just
Yeah, it's so, yeah, you're right. Email and voicemail are becoming so last year, at least in our environment, for sure, between, 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming in.
I know we're out of time here, so I'll stick around through the break if you have any questions for me that I might be able to try to answer. Otherwise, hopefully you heard something here that piques an interest. Reach out to somebody that said something that piqued your interest. Talk to them after this session. That's really the intention of the roundtable. This information is good, but it's the networking after the fact that's the real value. So appreciate everyone participating. Thank you.